What's the best way to create high quality posts on Facebook and Instagram? What are the parameters you need to know when exporting from Lightroom Classic for your social media sharing? I'll show you how to do it coming up. Hi, I'm Terry Vanderheiden. Today I'll take you through the steps of exporting in Lightroom Classic, specifically for social media. So let's get into it. Inside Lightroom Classic here, we've got a couple of images, a couple of things to consider when posting an image inside of Facebook or Instagram is that the ideal way that you want to post something is going to be in a vertical or a square. Probably square is even more popular because it transfers really good to Instagram. So the way to do that is you come over here to our crop tool, click on crop, come over here to original. If your lock is locked, you can unlock it by just clicking on it and then pulling down and go to 1 by 1. So the very first thing I do on an image is I make sure that it's going to fit in a square. So if it fits in a square, I'm great. I can just go on from here if I want. But if I don't want that, if I really do want to show the whole thing, then I can just go as shot and go back to where I was. And that's where I would export it from. So we'll take a look at this one. We've got this turtle and we've got the beach over here. Let's go into our crop. Let's go ahead and click over to 1 by 1. And okay, let's see here. If we want to include the beach, well, we're missing the sun over here. So we really can't do this. This one is not going to work this way. So we have to do this as original. We'll make sure that we can maybe crop it in just a little bit here, but not much more than that because we don't want to lose the turtle, we don't want to lose the sun, and we don't want to lose our coastline. So here's an example of something where we're not going to really crop. But let's go in and do an export. We're going to right click, we'll go down to export, and this brings up the export panel box. So this is telling us to export a file. So I always send things into a particular folder, and I just make a folder, test exports here on this drive, and you can just see, you can just go through here and make a folder that you like. And that's where I'm going to put my exports. Now we come down here for the first thing, nail file naming. I don't change file naming at all. I just leave it the same. It doesn't matter. You can if you want to put in your name and whatever else you like, you're welcome to do that. Video, we're not working with video right now. So on the file settings, you've got a choice. You've got JPEG, and you can also output to PNG. Those are two that will actually work on social media. But for the most part, it's going to be JPEG. As we look down, we'll keep our quality 100%. You can make the file size a little bit smaller by reducing this quality, but I don't really care to reduce my quality on my images that I'm posting. The next section down is color space. And right now it says Adobe 1998 because this is what I shoot. My camera is set at, my Photoshop set at. Everything I do is set at Adobe RGB 1998. However, when you're working inside of Facebook, if you want to post something in Facebook or Instagram, it does a lot better with sRGB. So we're going to change that to sRGB, and that's going to be for our outputs. Any of our exports that are going to go to social media will always have this color space. The next section down is image sizing. So when you go to create an image, we leave our resolution at 72. It might be set at 300. You want to reduce that to 72 or 92, something around those areas, but just leave it at 72 is fine. Now, when we go to resize to fit, we've got a couple of different options. We've got height and width. I don't use that generally. I just use long edge. So I know that the long edge needs to be a particular number. And that number for Facebook and Instagram is 1080. So that's 1080 is the size of this file. Now, you can post it. You can make it larger and Facebook will take it. But what happens is Facebook, Instagram, whatnot, they're gonna downsize it. They're gonna crop it down to size so it fits on their platform. So no matter how big, if you upload a really big file, they're gonna squish it down to something smaller. So you might as well take control of how big that's gonna be and make sure it looks the way you want it to look on your own computer. So that's what I suggest you do, is just give them the minimum of what you want. And the other option too, if you make a big file and somehow people can get their hands on it, now it's a usable file that somebody can make a print from, where a 1080 file is a pretty small resolution. They're not going to be able to do much with it if they do swipe it, unless it's used for something like it's just posting on Facebook or something. So I set mine at 1080, and that's going to be set for any of your regular resolution for outputs to Facebook or Instagram. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you hit output sharpening. And I set mine on screen and then standard. And the reason we do this is because, again, when Facebook gets a hold of an image, they're going to do some compression to it. And when they do the compression, you can start getting a softer image. So if you want more clarity, sharper images, I mean, we go to a lot of work to make our images sharp. And in order to show them that way, you got to take every step you can. So this is one of the things you want to take on your output, is to do sharpening for screen and at standard level in that amount. So that's something you want to add on to it. On metadata, we talked about this in another video. If you're interested in copyright and how to protect yourself a little bit with your images, I'll leave a link up here so you can do that. But the metadata can be included, or you can simply include your copyright and contact info. It's up to you. Usually what I'll do is I'll put all metadata, but if you just want to do your copyright and contact, that way people can't look into this and find out what camera you used or what setting you did. If you want to keep that private, you can do that by just putting in copyright and contact info only. Lastly is the watermark, and I'll show you how to do a watermark right after this. If you like this kind of content, hit the like button and share this video. Also, take a second to subscribe to the channel and ring that little bell icon so YouTube will remind you of my next video. If you'd rather, I can let you know when I have a new video available. Just sign up to my mailing list. It's free and it's easy. Just head over to my website, imagelight.com, go to the menu and hit subscribe. Then fill out the form and you're good to go. I try to release a video every Tuesday, and in some cases, I'm going to be doing an image editing tutorial. And when I do that, in advance, I will send you the raw file that I'm going to be working on that Tuesday's video so you can follow along with me. But that's only for people that are members of my mailing list. So go ahead and do that if you feel like it. Let's get back in the Lightroom and show you how the watermark part works. So we come into the watermarking, we click watermark, and we can do a simple watermark, or we can pull this down and go to edit watermarks. So we can see here that we've got a watermark that comes across here. It's very tiny. So let's go ahead and make some changes to it. We can go ahead and change all kinds of things that we want. We can change our text, our font rather. We can change if it's bold, however we want to have it look. We can change how it orients with the alignment of more than one line. And of course, we can change the color. So we'll just leave it on white. We also have the ability to put in a shadow. And the shadow generally is going to offset it off of the file a little bit better. So you can put in a little, I usually put about 80%. And this offset lets you know how far the shadow is off. Let's go ahead and bring this up here a little bit as we go into the actual size. Let's go ahead and bring that up. And we can see a little bit better now that shadow. See how that shadow is lightened a little bit or darkened a little bit? We can offset it. How far do we want it offset? Want it just a little bit. The radius is how much dissolve or blur is on that shadow. And then angle, of course, is what angle the light's coming from. I usually like to duplicate whatever angle of the light of the image is. So we're going to kind of have the angle coming in from this direction. Now we can see here that I put in a C for copyright. That's just kind of notifying people that this image is copywritten. And of course, any image that you shoot, as soon as you fire that shutter, that copyright's yours. So you don't really have to worry about it as much, but we're going to have it on here. Now what we're going to do is talk about the opacity, because as we come down here, we don't want this to really, we don't want it to distract. And look at this, it's going right over the turtle. That's a terrible spot to have this. So let's go ahead and reduce this quite a bit. And let's move it. It's not in a great spot there. Let's go ahead and we'll move it up here, up into this corner, and we'll make it quite a bit smaller, because all we want is a watermark, right? We're not looking to have everybody know that this is done by you. We just want to have a simple little watermark. And we can run it there. We can run it lots of different ways too. We can run it, let's go ahead and hit our, see, we can just run it down the side vertically, upside down. Wherever we want to have it, we can move it to the side. These little buttons tell you where you can move it to. And this allows you to put a watermark in, but doesn't distract from your image. So I think here is probably the best place to put it. So it's not distracting. We'll have it run vertically. And let's go ahead and let's have it run from top to bottom. And that's going to be the watermark that we'll have on this image. I also think that the opacity of this is still too high, so we're just going to bring it way down. So it's just faintly there, so if somebody wants to look for it, they can find it. So we're going to hit save. And now what we're going to do, the reason we hit save is we're going to save all of this information as a kind of a preset for us. So we're going to go social media, hit create. And now we're going to, we know that this is our social media setup, right? So we're just going to add and hit create. What that does is gives us, if we're going to be outputting to print or something, this is our social media platform. So all we have to do is click on that when we want to output to a social media. It'll come out 1080. It'll go in this folder. We'll know exactly where we find everything. It'll add the same information. It'll add the watermark. It'll do all that every time. So let's go ahead and export. A couple seconds later, it's exported. Let's go ahead and bring up that folder. And there's our image. Let's go ahead and open it. We can see our watermark is intact and our image is exported to the proper size. So there's one other thing I want to show you. When we go to export something, if we want to export another image, but let's say this time we'd like to change our watermark to an icon of some sort or a graphic, we go into graphics and we find our graphic that we want to use. Let's use this little camera logo. And we can see that it puts it right there for us to look at if we want to have that. And this is how we make that larger or smaller. We still have the ability to move it around and rotate it. And we can put it down here if we like. We can make it a little brighter. So that's a black line. So if you want to make it white, then you need to go in and create a white logo. But this is how you would actually create this logo if you wanted to use a logo as your watermark. We'll hit save, and this is just going to be the logo watermark. And let's export it. And there it is right there. Let's go ahead and open it with preview. Let's see our little camera logo is watermarked down in there. So these are the ways that you can add a watermark to your export if you choose that you want to add watermarks. I don't know how important it is or essential it is, but if you want to do that, you can certainly do that. And it's another level of maybe protecting your image or letting people know this is your image. A lot of people crop them out. A lot of people even go into Photoshop and try to take out a logo of a watermark, but it's just a simple thing that you could do. And this is how, when you're exporting the proper size to something like Facebook or Instagram, and then your images are going to shine. All right, we'll see you next time.